I'm singing in harmony, in the key of you and me. We only got one life to live, so
what's going on?
well.
This is Ruined Radio. I am Jake Jones,
I'm Justin Forshaw.
and we have the lovely Dr. Leslie Shew with us. How are you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so this has been a crazy week. I sound congested because I'm getting over a stupid cold that I
Got
think
the pneumonia.
everybody's had. The pneumonia.
You got it? I got me 5.
You got 5 pneumonias?
I got 5 of them. Yeah, the doctor told me.
Oh, gosh. I don't
It's okay. I'm working through it.
think that's possible.
No, he told me I could.
You're like a cow. Cows have like 4 stomachs or something.
I got pneumonia in
I'm
each of my
stupid,
stomachs.
That's not possible at all.
Oh,
That's
okay.
I'm calling you out on that one.
Difference of opinion. It's okay.
Well, cool. Well, normally we're a little bit bigger crowd, but Luke and Brooks are on vacation this week, and so we're just hanging out, and
It smells nicer in here now. I
it
gotta be
does
honest.
smell a
Very
lot
nice.
better.
It took a few
Candles are
days,
nice touch.
but we've cleared it out. So
Cleared out the Luke and Brooks smell. Blah. I'm just kidding. They don't smell bad.
they don't smell that bad.
Yeah, well, cool. So I have Leslie here. Now, tell us what you do, Leslie.
Well, I am an entrepreneur, so I have 2-3 different businesses, but my background is in education and natural health. So that's, I help people get better.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes, and she does a fantastic job at it, too. So I brought in Leslie today to talk about something that has been blowing my mind recently, and really has, I think, honestly, just changed my life. And it's a product called EHT. Now, it's distributed through Narium International, and it is, what's the correct terminology? What do I call it exactly?
Well, we call it a brain enhancement supplement.
Basically, the limitless pill.
Yeah.
That's
I could use some enhancement in my brain.
or a new brain.
A new brain.
Excuse me. This congestion is just really getting to me.
Till I can get that transplant I'm waiting for.
No, so brain enhancement. Now, I'll be completely honest. My wife, like 2 months ago, was like, "Hey, Jake, take this stuff called EHT. It's brain enhancement." And I thought, okay, sure. I learned a long time ago, just do what she says, and she'll be happy and I'll be happy. I'm just kidding. No, but she did encourage me to take it. And I can be a bit of a skeptic about those types of things, especially because it's distributed through kind of the, I think it's called network marketing type plan and that sort of thing. My parents growing up were involved in a lot of different things. And I'm not saying that all or any of them were bad at all, but they eventually would kind of fizzle out, and it was just whichever one was most popular at the time, they would jump in and do it. So I was super skeptical, but I thought, all right, I'll give it a try. It's not going to hurt me, and I started to notice something. And the reason I wanted to bring you in today was because of what I do, what Justin does. The types of people that we hang out with do. We are musicians, and we're on tour, and we work in studios, and we write music, we play music, we practice, we study, we learn, and all of that takes a lot of brain activity. And I think musicians can get stereotyped sometimes for being airheaded or having ADD or that sort of thing. And there's good reason for it. A lot of times our brains just kind of wander in a million different directions. And when you sit down and say, okay, I need to write a song today, or I need to mix a song, or let's track this or track that, it's really easy to get off on a tangent and start having a conversation or start playing on Facebook or whatever. And really lose track of what you're doing. So something EHT has started to do for me, and it took maybe 2 weeks for me to actually notice, oh, wow, this is a difference. And then by week 3 or 4, I was just firing on all cylinders. But I feel like it's really allowed me to focus my energy and my creativity towards what I'm doing. I am remembering things. I always say I need to make a list so I don't forget what to do for the day, but I always forget to even make a list. Halfway through the day or at the end of the day, I was like, I was going to make a list. I wake up, I've got my list. Get here at the studio and I just boom, boom, boom. I knock things out. I'm able to focus on one thing at a time until it's completely done. And, it's funny. We were talking earlier about, is it like a pill like Ritalin that they give children and adults that maybe have ADD or ADHD? And it's nothing like that. I've heard people that take that type of thing say, well, it just kind of zaps me out. I kind of just, I lose motivation. And this is just the opposite. All of a sudden, all this creative energy that I feel like is just beyond my control, I can harness it and I can use it to sit down with Justin and write a song, or on tour, I can remember just all the little things that I need to get done throughout the day. And all you touring artists that are listening can definitely relate to that feeling of, I've got all these things I need to get done. And then the next day you're like, what happened to my day yesterday? I was going to do all these things and I never did. And so how does it work? Why is that happening to me? What, because it's not like Ritalin, right?
No. So first of all, this comes from a natural source. Dr. Jeffrey Stock, who owns Cigna Biosciences, he basically was the one that discovered this, researched it for over 20 years, I guess. Oh, wow. And he had a couple of things going on. He was trying to figure out what was missing or what was similar to people who had Alzheimer's disease or dementia. But he also was looking for plant sources, things in nature that he knew would help enhance the brain. And he went to coffee because so many people drink coffee to help them focus, give them energy, give them clarity.
Every day.
And he's like, okay, there's got to be something in the coffee bean that's doing this. And so, long story short, he basically found a way to isolate this protein in the green coffee bean. And so what it does for the brain, essentially, it's feeding the brain something that allows the brain to produce more of this particular protein without getting into all the medical stuff. It's called PP2A. And so basically when the brain is getting what it needs, then it functions the way it's supposed to function. So we have a lot of reasons why our brain doesn't do what it's supposed to do, whether it's stress, fatigue, too much caffeine, sugar is a big issue, lack of sleep, all these things that affect our brain. And then some of us are just born where, you've heard, if you have ADD or ADHD, you've heard of your doctor say, maybe, well, your brain is misfiring or those types of things. So, essentially what this is doing is it's allowing the brain to produce this protein, and it's also helping to control the other protein, which is tau protein, which is kind of something they've linked back to Alzheimer's and dementia. But even with ADD and ADHD, which is really what we're thinking about today, the way I like to describe it, I used to teach high school kids, and they were, In fact, I was at a high school that was all musicians and artists, and it was a school, there were no sports.
Holy
so everybody would walk
cow.
around with their guitars, and it was really cool. But teaching them was a challenge. You can imagine a whole school full of nothing but musicians and artists. It was awesome. So, and their biggest complaint was they didn't like the Ritalin. They didn't like some of the other drugs that are out on the market because it blocked their creativity. And they would say it would numb them out, or they'd have terrible side effects. Whatever it was, it just made them not feel like themselves. And so they just wouldn't take it, which is why they were at our school, because they couldn't focus long enough in a traditional school to pass their classes. So we were a little bit more open to their creativity. So what I love about this is it's enhancing the brain's performance. It's helping you focus and bringing clarity. It's not doing anything, blocking anything from the brain. It's just feeding it what it needs so that it can function. And the best way I can describe it, there are these microtubules that connect all the different brain cells to each other. And whether it's age or stress or your brain, whatever it could be, if they're not communicating well, generally you've got these little train tracks on these microtubules. They kind of look like train tracks, and they get frayed, so kind of like split ends on your hair. And so when they're frayed, then it's
I totally understand
very
split
difficult
ends.
to communicate from cell to cell. So what this does, this protein basically smooths out the train tracks so that information goes back and forth the way it's supposed to be. And it also is helping connect the both hemispheres of the brain. So where you might be really strong in your creative side of the brain, you're probably not going to have things like organizational skills. And so this helps to connect those so that now, it doesn't mean that you're going to be like Mr. Organized, but you're probably going to find yourself getting more things done because you're able to organize a little bit better in your brain, but it's not blocking your creativity. So it's actually enhancing your creativity. And now you're able to remember to do things. You're able to focus longer, so performance is going to be better kind of all the way around. So,
Yeah. Well, it's funny. Any married men can definitely relate to this one, but, dumb little things like just, rinse and addition, putting in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
Or taking the trash out when it's full. I mean, these are the complaints I think a lot of wives have about their men. And I would tell my wife, I'm so sorry. I don't even think about it. I remember having the argument with my parents growing up. Why is the trash full? Why haven't you taken the trash out? It doesn't even cross my mind. I'm busy doing other things, whatever. I'm not. And I find myself, I'm not having to put effort into thinking about it suddenly. I just do think about it. I walk by the kitchen. Is the trash, whatever.
Yeah.
Which my wife has really appreciated. But I was telling somebody about this now. I run a studio with Justin. I'm writing music. I'm doing all kinds of things. So going full out on the offensive to try to sell this product is not something that's not something I'm doing. But I've just been telling people about what a massive difference it's had in my life, because it really has. And I just can't not talk about it. And the story I find a lot of times when I'm describing the difficult time I've been having trying to fall asleep at night, or feeling groggy throughout the day, or all of these issues that were really plaguing me, I just started to go away. I didn't know anything about EHT other than it was just a brain enhancement thing. That's all I knew.
Right.
I was thinking, oh yeah, it's going to help me remember. That's actually what I thought it would do.
You weren't expecting certain things.
No,
it
not
wasn't
at
like
all.
Placebo effect where you're like,
Exactly.
it's supposed to do this, this, and this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't a placebo where, exactly. Nobody said you're going to sleep better. So then I started sleeping better. I had no idea. But what I noticed was I could lay down in bed, close my eyes. The stresses of the day aren't plaguing me. What I have to do tomorrow is not keeping me awake. I close my eyes and I just go to sleep, and I wake up in the morning. Now, sometimes I get a great night's, nice long sleep. Sometimes I work here late. I get home, I go to bed. My daughters wake me up early, and I don't get a very long amount of sleep. And I'm still rested. I still feel good. I don't feel tired and sluggish throughout the day. And those were completely unexpected side effects of taking this EHT. And, I'm just really excited to share it with other musicians, other people, guys that are trying to fall asleep on buses, guys that, they get home from tour, they can't sleep because they're used to sleeping in a bus, or, they're used to the big lights.
The old NyQuil nighttime. Laying there in a bench in a van, take a little bit of NyQuil and pass out, wake up and feel like somebody punched you in the throat.
Man,
and this
many
is
people do
awesome
that.
too because you are resting better. You have that sustained energy throughout the day. So I've had people go, I don't run to Starbucks in the afternoon anymore, and there's no caffeine in it. So it's not a caffeine effect at all. It's just your brain. It's almost like, oh, wow, this is what I'm supposed to feel like.
Yeah.
This is what I'm supposed my brain's supposed to be doing this. So it's
You
pretty
spark
cool.
my interest because I have noticed a difference with the way that like your performance normally like kind of sidetracked. You have a little bit of the ADD, ADHD. I've never really struggled with that a little bit. I have a little bit of that, but I can't do coffee. Like coffee, I like coffee, but the way that I feel when I drink too much coffee to get that little, clarity and the buzz thing going, I feel awful. Like, especially towards the late afternoon. It's just, it's a nightmare. So I've been kind of curious about the product that you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, and that's another thing. I had to have my morning coffee before I could talk. And that was, that's always been a big part of my adult life is coffee first thing in the morning. And that could mean the difference between a good day and a bad day, at least the first half of it. And I forget to drink coffee now. Sometimes I'll make it or my wife will make it and I'll accidentally leave it on the table, or I'll finally remember like, oh yeah, I was drinking coffee. I've, been busy doing other things and it's cold because my body doesn't rely on that kick that it used to, because my brain is just functioning like it should.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
We've seen some really amazing things. And with all ages, I may have kids that are 5 years old, they're taking this, or 7 years old, and, teenagers and young adults. All across the board, we have all different age groups. So people that are focusing better in school, they're reading books for the first time, that kind of stuff. So remembering what they're reading, or we have athletes that are doing really well with it.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah, because, obviously it's increasing their ability to focus and perform. And so same with musicians, obviously. We do have a lady that was playing with a symphony and was struggling to keep up. She'd been with them a long time, but she was having trouble. Sometimes they'll throw music in at the last minute. She was just, getting older. And so since she's been on this, she's like, man, they throw a piece of music in, I'm all over it, because you're just responding faster. Your brain is responding a lot faster.
That you mentioned that very thing. A touring musician is, as far as playing the music, can be a little bit of a cakewalk, because you play the same 10, 20, 30 songs every day for years, and the songs. And so you don't necessarily have to have a good ability to learn a song quickly, because you can take however long you need to learn it. Once you know it, then you just know it, and you play it every day, and you just, it's ingrained. But here in Nashville, the ability to jump in and play material for other artists is very important. I play at my church on Sundays every once in a while, and it was always a huge stress for me, because I would get the music, I just would be busy doing other things, couldn't sit down and take the time to work through the songs, and sometimes it would take me hours and hours and hours just to learn a song, make sure I got all the parts right and I was playing it well. And I've just found it to be no big deal at all. This past week, I played a concert, had a set of songs to learn, and sat down in a couple of afternoons, and I didn't have a whole lot of time to spend on it, and I didn't need to take a whole lot of time. I knew the parts, I was able to remember them. There wasn't an issue with, wait, was this part on this song or that song or the other, which are, problems every musician has. And I really appreciated that. And it was funny that you just said that, because I didn't even think about that because it really is like make me sick to my stomach. It's all I can think about is I have these 4, 5, 6 songs to learn by this weekend. And it's like, the going to school in your underwear dream? Am I going to get up on stage at church on Sunday and not know these songs because I didn't have enough time to learn them?
Yeah.
And that's just not not an issue. I think, session players, guys that are trying to jump in and play these songs they've never heard before, and they get one shot to look at a sheet and then go,
Yeah.
Can really benefit from something like this.
And you're still young, so wait till
wait till I'm really old, like 30.
35 or something.
Oh, man. Well, no, I appreciate you coming in here. Now, this product is available online. I know you can get it through me and through my wife, and it's jakeandjosiejones.narium.com.
Yep.
And that's jakeandjosiejones.narium.com. You can find EHT as well as some other really incredible products.
Yep.
A lot of things, speaking to the other side of musicians, wanting to look good and stay young. That's one thing I could say about musicians is you look at some of these guys that are 50 and they look like they're 90.
Everybody's looking for that vampire.
And there's some great products in the Narium line. Narium, there's a night cream and a day cream, and then a firming cream. And now these all sound like very feminine things because that's usually what you hear about in TV commercials and whatnot. But these are not things just for women to use because they really work. They're really incredible.
Yeah.
They
Our
help
guys
with.
love them.
Oh, they help
Yeah.
with it's not just to make you look younger. It helps with acne scarring, just scarring in general, and then of course wrinkle lines and that sort of thing. And
all of our products came out of medical research, so we're not just your typical anti-aging company. Everything has come to us through medical. Those skin products were accidentally discovered in medical research, and then the EHT, came out of Cigna Biosciences and Princeton University. So that kind of sets us apart. We're not just your typical go-to.
And these are all natural products, right?
Yeah, they're plant-based.
Yes.
Yep.
So they're which is what you specialize in. Is that correct?
Yeah.
These aren't just chemical. This is that you're putting into your skin, putting into your body that's going to poison you and cause issues later on down the road. In fact, wasn't Narium, weren't they trying to find a cure for skin cancer?
Well, their biotech company was using the extract, the NAE8 extract, in research for, and still are, for cancer. In fact, 30% of all of our proceeds go back to fund their medical research. So that's kind of why we exist, really, is to help fund plant-based research for cancer. And so that's kind of how we were born. They've been around for, I guess 13, 14 years. And then we have just been around for 4 years now. And we just hit $1 billion in sales in 4 years. Yeah.
Holy cow.
So we were the, I think, third or fourth company to ever do that. Priceline and Groupon have done that.
It's a couple little tiny companies,
Yeah,
Priceline, Groupon.
Yeah. So
I'm working on my first billion.
Yeah.
I'm working on mine too.
So anyway, that was probably part of the reason that Cigna Biosciences even looked at us, because of what we were doing, and they thought, wow, this would be a great company to take our EHT to the market.
Yeah.
So they were originally going to market it through a sports federation. So they were focusing on athletes and performance. And
Sure.
but anyway, I think they're pleased at the decision for letting us take it to market for them.
Well, Leslie, I really appreciate you coming in.
You're
I know that you're a
welcome.
busy lady, and this EHT has really blown my mind. It's, I guess, it's on the opposite of blown my mind. It's really helped focus my mind, and I'm getting things done. I'm finding myself free of some of the things that hinder my creativity, like stress and like the overwhelming feeling of having other things to do. And I'm just able to freely think and do the things that I want to do. It's learning licks on guitar is easier. Learning songs is easier. Creating is just easier. And so I really encourage you to try it. EHT, Dr. Leslie Shew. Appreciate it. And this is the Ruined Radio podcast. A very, very special guest. So thank you guys so much, and peace out.
Breathe it in and smile for life. Smiles for life.